Caught on camera. What did Jungkook really slip to Mingyu in the middle of the concert? And why are fans convinced it was never just an item? What if a single blurred frame, captured in less than a second, was enough to ignite one of the most emotionally charged debates in K-pop this year? What if a fleeting movement of a hand, barely visible under concert lights, carried a meaning far deeper than anyone expected? And what if Jungkook of BTS, without saying a single word, had just triggered a wave of speculation that now refuses to die? Because that is exactly what is happening right now. The camera caught something. Not clearly, not cleanly, but clearly enough, and the grainy image now circulating across social media, Jungkook is seen leaning subtly toward Mingyu in the middle of a packed concert venue. The lights are low, the crowd is loud, the moment is fast, and yet his hand moves with unmistakable intention, angled toward Mingyu's side, as if passing something small, deliberate, and personal. Mingyu's posture shifts slightly. His attention flickers, and then nothing. The moment disappears, swallowed by music and motion. But for ARMY and Carrot watching from across the world, that second has become everything. What was it? Why did it look secretive? And why are so many fans convinced this was not a casual exchange, not a random object, not something meant for the public eye? These are the questions now echoing across timelines, forums, and fan spaces, growing louder with every replay of the same blurred clip. And the deeper fans dig, the more convinced they become that what the camera captured was not ordinary at all. The moment did not occur in isolation. It unfolded during a concert that was already charged with meaning. On January 25th, 2026, fans were still processing the unexpected sight of Jungkook appearing publicly while on military hiatus, choosing to attend the Koo's ex-Mingyu concert, an event already historic for 17 fans. The presence of Jungkook alone was enough to send shockwaves through the K-pop community. But when he was later spotted seated beside Soo Mingho, also known as the Eight, the narrative expanded instantly. Photos shared by the X account at About Music YT showed Jungkook and Mingho sitting side by side among the audience, relaxed, engaged, and unmistakably comfortable in each other's presence. Jungkook, dressed in a black cap and jacket, looked low-key yet unmistakably himself. Mingho, in a white cap with a distinctive slogan and a face mask, matched the casual tone of the evening. The image went viral within minutes, racking up tens of thousands of likes and nearly 2 million views in a matter of hours. Fans reacted emotionally, analytically, obsessively. Some focused on Jungkook's visuals, zooming into close-ups of his jawline, his neck, the familiar intensity of his gaze even when seated in the crowd. Others celebrated Mingho's presence, thrilled by the visible bond between idols from different groups under HYB labels. The mood was warm, nostalgic, hopeful. It felt like a quiet reminder that behind the industry, behind the schedules and hierarchies, friendships endure. But then came the second image. Or rather, the fragment of one that, unlike the first photos, this image was not clean. It was not posed. It looked accidental, almost intrusive. The lighting was harsh. The focus was off. And yet, it showed something the earlier images did not. Jungkook leaning toward Mingyu, not Mingho. Mingyu, the timing raised immediate questions. Why Mingyu, specifically, in the middle of the concert? Why the quick motion? Why the way Jungkook's hand seemed to shield whatever he was holding? And why did Mingyu's reaction, so subtle, so restrained, feel rehearsed, as if he knew exactly what was happening? Speculation exploded instantly. Some fans argued it was a simple gesture, perhaps Jungkook passing a phone, a note, or an item Mingyu had dropped. Others dismissed the theory entirely, insisting the movement was too intentional, too careful to be accidental. The idea that it was just an object began to feel insufficient, almost dismissive of the emotional weight fans sensed in the exchange, because in K-pop, context is everything. Jungkook and Mingyu are not strangers. Both are central figures in their groups. Both represent a new generation of idols under HYB, and both carry immense symbolic weight. Jungkook, as BTS's youngest member, has long been seen as a bridge between eras, between BTS's global dominance and the future of HYB's expanding universe. Mingyu, meanwhile, stands as one of Seventeen's most visible and influential members, admired not only for his performance, but for his leadership presence and charisma. An exchange between them, especially one that appears hidden, inevitably invites interpretation. Was it a personal gift? A token of support? A message passed quietly, away from microphones and headlines? Or was it something even more symbolic, a shared understanding between artists navigating the same immense pressures, the same expectations, the same spotlight? Fans began dissecting the image frame by frame. Some claimed to see a small object, possibly metallic, catching the light for a fraction of a second. Others suggested it could have been fabric, perhaps a bracelet, a string, or even a folded note. A more emotional theory proposed that it was a lucky charm, something meant to offer strength or reassurance in a demanding moment. What made the speculation more intense was the silence. An official statement followed. No clarification from HYB. No casual dismissal from either artist. The moment was allowed to exist unanswered, and in the world of K-pop fandom, unanswered moments grow roots. Theories multiplied. Some fans connected the exchange to the broader relationship between BTS and Seventeen, two groups that have consistently shown mutual respect and quiet solidarity. Under HYB labels, they represent not competition but continuity. Support between members has often been subtle, expressed through gestures rather than words. A shared glance at an award show, a quiet attendance at each other's concerts, a mention in passing during a live stream. This moment felt like an extension of that unspoken language. Others took the analysis further, suggesting the exchange could relate to Jungkook's military hiatus. Attending the concert itself was a statement, an affirmation that he remains present, supportive, and emotionally connected to the industry even while fulfilling his service. Passing something to Mingyu in that setting could symbolize trust, continuity, or even a passing of energy from one stage of an idol's life to another. Still, skeptics pushed back. They warned against over-romanticizing a blurry image, reminding fans that not every gesture carries hidden meaning. Yet, even they struggled to explain why this particular moment felt different, heavier, more deliberate than an ordinary interaction, because it did not look casual. The body language mattered. Jungkook did not simply turn and speak. He leaned in, his shoulder angled protectively. His hand moved quickly and then retreated. Mingyu did not react with surprise or confusion. He did not look down openly or question what he received. The exchange happened smoothly, almost seamlessly, as if pre-understood. And in K-pop, where idols are trained to be hyper-aware of cameras, every movement is a choice. As the image continued to circulate, fans began drawing emotional connections. Many spoke about the loneliness of being an idol, even at the top, about the weight of expectations, about how small gestures between peers can carry immense comfort. In this reading, the object itself became almost irrelevant. What mattered was the act, the quiet acknowledgement, the silent support offered without spectacle. Some fans even suggested the exchange was never meant to be seen, that it was a private moment, accidentally captured, now magnified beyond its original intention. And perhaps that is why it resonates so deeply, because it feels human, unfiltered, real. The broader context of the concert only intensified the emotion. The Deskription x Mingyu concert was itself a celebration of growth and leadership within Seventeen. Deskription as leader and Mingyu, as a central figure, represented resilience, evolution, and unity. Jungkook's presence in that space felt symbolic, one generation of global icons quietly witnessing and supporting another. When fans recalled that Jungkook was also seen sitting beside Mingyu earlier that evening, the narrative expanded further. It was not a single connection, but a web of relationships. Jungkook did not appear isolated or distant. He appeared integrated, engaged, and emotionally present within the HYB family. The numbers surrounding the viral posts only confirmed the scale of interest. Over 42,000 likes, nearly 5,000 reposts, more than 1.5 million views in record time. And that was before the blurred image of the exchange began circulating independently, detached from its original context and fueled purely by speculation. Every repost added a new caption. Every caption added a new interpretation. Some asked direct questions. Others made bold claims. Many simply expressed disbelief that such a small moment could feel so powerful, and that disbelief is precisely what keeps the story alive, because in an industry built on performance, polish, and controlled narratives, unscripted moments feel dangerous and irresistible. They invite fans to step behind the curtain, to imagine what idols say to each other when microphones are off and lights are dim. Was Jungkook offering encouragement? Was he sharing a joke? Was he handing over something deeply personal, meant only for Mingyu? Or was the meaning not in the object at all, but in the act of giving? As days passed without clarification, the moment transformed from a rumor into a symbol. It became a talking point not only about Jungkook and Mingyu, but about idol relationships as a whole. About how connection survives despite schedules, hierarchies, and public scrutiny. About how support can be silent and still powerful. Some fans even argued that the lack of confirmation was intentional, that allowing the moment to remain ambiguous protected its authenticity, that explaining it would reduce it to something ordinary, when what made it special was precisely the mystery. And perhaps that is the most compelling interpretation of all, because sometimes the most meaningful moments are not meant to be understood fully. They are meant to be felt. What the camera captured that night may never be officially explained. The object, if there was one, may never be identified. Jungkook and Mingyu may never address it, choosing instead to let the moment exist as it is, brief, blurred, and emotionally charged. But for fans watching from afar, the image has already done its work. It has reminded them that even in the largest arenas, even under the brightest lights, intimacy still exists. That idols are not just performers, but people capable of quiet gestures that resonate louder than words. The question remains, lingering in the air long after the music faded. What did Jungkook really give to Mingyu that night? And why does it feel like it mattered more than we are supposed to know? And yet, the longer this moment lingers in the public imagination, the clearer it becomes that the true power of what happened lies not in certainty, but in the unanswered space it left behind. Because in K-pop, mystery is never empty. It fills itself with emotion. As hours turned into days, fans began noticing details they had initially overlooked. The timing of the exchange, for example, did not happen during a loud chorus or a chaotic crowd surge. It occurred during a quieter transition, a moment when idols in the audience could relax just enough to let their guard down. Jungkook's posture shifted only briefly, but not impulsively. His movement looked practiced, careful, almost instinctive, as if he had already decided what he needed to do long before his hand moved. Why would an idol as camera-aware as Jungkook choose that exact second? That question alone pushed many fans away from the "it was nothing" explanation. Jungkook is known within the industry for his sharp awareness of surroundings. Years of global scrutiny have trained him to read cameras like second nature. If this had been a meaningless exchange, why not wait? Why not hand it over openly? Why the subtle lean, the partial cover of his hand, the speed, and then there is Mingyu's response. Mingyu did not turn fully toward Jungkook. He did not visibly inspect what he received. There was no exaggerated reaction, no smile for the crowd, no sign of surprise. His body language suggested familiarity, not curiosity, acceptance, not confusion. Almost as if he already knew what was coming, fans began asking a more emotionally charged question. Was this moment planned, even loosely, between them? The idea sent shockwaves through both fandoms. If it was planned, even in the smallest way, then the exchange becomes something far more intimate than a casual interaction. It suggests communication beforehand, an understanding that did not need words in the moment. And that understanding, fans argue, is what makes the moment feel so heavy. Some began connecting us to earlier, quieter interactions between BTS and 17. Moments that were never heavily promoted, never dramatized by agencies, but quietly noticed by fans who pay attention to patterns. Mutual attendance at events. Subtle praise in interviews. Body language that suggests comfort rather than obligation. I end this reading. What happened between Jungkook and Mingyu was not sudden. It was the visible tip of a relationship built slowly, privately, away from the spotlight. Others focused on the symbolism of location. A concert led by Deskription and Mingyu is not just entertainment. It is a statement of leadership and resilience. Jungkook choosing to be there, during a period when his appearances are naturally limited, already carried emotional weight. But participating in a private exchange within that space elevated the gesture beyond simple support. Was Jungkook acknowledging Mingyu's growth? Recognizing the burden he carries as a central figure in 17? Offering reassurance from someone who has walked that path under even more intense global pressure?